Talking Films. This is a podcast by DokuFest. Tune in to discover more about documentary film and filmmakers. I'm Alexandra, your host. Hello everyone, nice that you are with us for another episode of Talking Films. Welcome to my guest, Ado Hasanović.
Hello everyone.
Would you like to say a few words about yourself?
I am a person that is really curious and I love movies, I love stories, I love to meet people, to talk to them. I love to lost myself watching others' movies, and I'm trying to make films.
You're a filmmaker?
I'm a filmmaker, and I'm trying to make films as well. And that's beautiful.
It is. And as a first question that we ask to all our guests, I would also like to ask you, how was your trip to Prizren?
How is my trip? It was really long because
Okay.
I came with the car from Glogova. It's a village in eastern Bosnia. It's like region Srebrenica. Maybe it's easier to say I came from Srebrenica to Prizren, but I came from this little village, Glogova, that is connected with the topic that I think we will speak with my film,
Yes.
because the reason that I came here. And with the car, so then entering from Bosnia and Hercegovina to Serbia, it was like they stop me and they take everything out from the car. They look every single details. I said, okay, take your time. I know it's, but I'm the person who crossed the border with the ID, because this, Bosnia and Serbia has this kind of the
Issues?
No. They have this kind of the collaboration that you don't need a passport
Anymore? Oh,
yeah,
good.
you could do with the ID, and then as well that I'm in Bratunac and I'm crossing the border in Banja Bašta. They are like taking 1 hour for it's procedure, blah blah blah. So it was a nice experience meeting all of these policemen, because later on they were telling me, okay, bring us in holiday in Italy.
Interesting, very
They
interesting.
were excusing as well because,
Yeah.
but it was okay. Then I traveled for 7 hours to reach, and it was nice to see some landscapes through the Serbia, through Sanjak area, and finally reach the Kosovo for the first time. I'm first time here. I'm very impressed.
Nice to hear. To DokuFest, you brought us your latest feature-length documentary, My Father's Diaries. For the ones who couldn't watch it, what's the story?
Yeah, I will add.
Just in short, we will talk.
Yeah,
later.
My Father's Diaries is official title for people who are saying this title is maybe too generic, or there is a second title that I always like to mention, John, Ben and Boys. It's a story about my father and his two friends who during the Srebrenica period of the war, they created this TV amateur crew, and they capture life of Srebrenica in that period. So that's the intimate story of where I'm trying to understand who is my father, how he survived, and actually how I survived together with my mom and my brother and sister.
It's a very impressive movie. Actually, for me, it was hard to even develop questions because it's so much to digest. So if they seem too simple, I'm sorry for that. But yeah, I want to start with the materials you used. I wondered, when or how did you know about all these recordings that we see in the film and that you mentioned before of this amateur TV crew?
Yeah, it's the material. I knew always that this material exists. Actually, I think I'm very influenced by the material as a film director today, because I studied at Sarajevo Film Academy, then at National Film School, Centro Sperimentale di Cinematografia in Rome. After finishing all these film academies, I understand that I'm influenced by the material of my father because of the way how I'm filming, of the way how I'm holding the camera. And because those materials are the first materials that I ever watched. I went maybe for the first time in cinema after when I was 16 or 17 years old because of whole conflict, war, and things that I couldn't. When growing with my mom and my father, they would often after the war put this video recorder and they will watch the material. Of course, many things they would not tell us, not tell me, but I would see, all these memories or records, and I never actually understood it very well. Then back in 2011, when I grow up a bit, I know that my father wanted to destroy diaries because
There
he
were
wrote
not only videos but also diaries,
yes,
right?
exactly. He wrote diaries as well because the video material is connected with this with his diaries, and that is really impressive because many things that he wrote, it's actually he filmed as well. So that's something. And when I supposed to make this film, and I said this is really insane and it's incredible because he left me a script and the material, like he already filmed it and he gave me. He's supposed to make it, and I finished it like 30 years after the genocide happened in Srebrenica. Like, it's, I don't know, it took me a lot because I never wanted to work about this material because I didn't want to remember. But when I went to study Film Academy in Rome, I started a little bit to take distance from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I started to, I don't know, to speak to other people. And all people in Italy, they wanted me that I speak about these events. And I told them I came here to
not do that anymore.
Yeah, I want to live grande bellezza, I want to see something beautiful. And then I will always sacrifice myself. I would say, okay, I will go to speak. And because I never went to some psychotherapeutic person to speak about my problems, about my trauma. And I think that these meetings and testimonies that I speak in front of like many groups in universities, elementary schools, or some kind of other events, I feel in somehow I don't know, something changed inside of me, that I could speak about these things without getting that much nervous, angry, or whatever, because that was also the way that I could understand better what I and my family went through. So, yeah, and especially when some of these people, after they would ask me if they could shake my hand. That was, those things are really, I cannot forget these moments. And then I decided to say, okay, maybe it is important to make film about my father and about his tapes, about his life.
Yeah, I guess there was a lot of material and many pages. What process was that to go through all that? What was your method, maybe?
Yeah, it was, he wrote 6 diaries, and he started working his diaries from the beginning of the war when his brother died. He steps on the mine, and then since that moment he started writing until the end of the war, almost 4 years. He wrote diaries. That is really incredible.
That's quite amazing.
Every single day he would write even few lines, and a lot of materials, and a lot of 9 hours of the footage. And then of course I filmed him. I started filming him from 2017 till 2020. Unfortunately, he passed away.
We also see that in the movie.
Yeah. And I didn't want to make a film about him because I thought I cannot make it because I didn't finish the filming. I didn't make it in the way that I wanted when he was alive. And the words that really follow me still today is when he said, my Ado, I will die and you will not finish the movie. It's life. This is life, and it's also memory, because you cannot remember everything. You could remember something, and you saw these materials some material is really nice and you could see it, some material is destroyed, you cannot see it, and it was the process to work with the Palomar production from Rome, that they were interested in it, and I'm really grateful that I work on this movie with them, and my producer Antonio Badalamenti. He involved 3 film editors, among them like Esmeralda Calabria, Desideria Reiner, and Elisabetta Abrami. So I had really amazing 3 women from Italy who work with me on this material. Before also involving them, my production involved 2 amazing screenwriters, authors who were next to me, because this is very personal story. So they involved Anna Zagaglia and Armando Maria Trotta, 2 Italian screenwriters, and we did many sessions of speaking, and they really speaking with me. They entered and they activated some memories that I remember some things, and then we would watch the material and we did selections. And then with my editor, first one, for 1 month we were just selecting the materials. After 1 month we started with the second to make the first draft. And then with the first and second editor, we tried to make like few versions. And with the third editor, we concluded the film. And in all this process...
It's a huge process.
Yeah, and in all this process, we were followed. I was there to keep the memory from the beginning, and one of the screenwriters. Because keeping also the memory of the process, it was important. It was, I thought it would not be that complex. But to take, it is easy to tell the story sometimes. But depends in which, do you want a TV format? Do you want classical interview? Do you want a cinema look, a cinema cut? So here I decided to have narration of the diaries. So I'm reading diaries of my father, and I'm combining his footage with the footage that I filmed him in the presence. And if I add narration extra, my narration, it's getting confused. It's getting to different layers. Maybe for the viewer, it's more simple to understand, but film language gets lost, I think. There is no anymore like some kind of the aesthetic or a right direction that some person could follow.
One question that I had is, you worked with Italian people or non-Bosnian people on the movie, the writers, as you mentioned before, for example, or the editors. Was that difficult because they are maybe not so much into the topic like you, or they lack specific kind of memories, or was it good that they didn't have this experience and looked at the whole thing with different eyes?
That's a really good question, because I think I'm still processing this, and I think now it is good because it's not like I think my production really make it a good strategy to help me to tell the story how I want, and not even to make it in a very like pathetic way, like that I didn't want, because so these people were professionals and they really wanted that film is it works, that has a rhythm, that has the right information and the right points. I think it was really important and necessary. And I could mention another film, Kova de Saida, that is connected with Srebrenica and everything.
It's a feature film about the genocide, like the first feature film,
yes,
actually,
yes.
by Hasanović.
It's not the first feature film. It's first feature film done by Bosnian film director.
Okay, yeah. Correct, yeah.
Because there are also a few other movies, but Jasmila, of course, is considered as first because other fiction films, maybe Italian, French production that is already done in that period, were not that known. They were also less production or so her movie. What is interesting in her movie, it's that I really appreciated is that she's choosing a main character. She's a Serbian.
Yeah.
It's
The
a Serbian
actress. Yeah.
that she is interpreting a Bosnian woman who lives in Srebrenica. So this is also the way how director decides to work with someone who wants only the professional side. But of course, I think you get emotional, you know. Even my crew who work on my film, they, you know, you see they are emotional or they cry. I mean, it's impossible to remain like a stone in front of some things that you see. I mean.
Yeah. What I found quite surprising about the footage that we see in your movie is that it's literally some days before genocide. Of course, people didn't know that this will happen, but they knew that they are at war. They suffered a lot until then. But they still joked. Like, they made jokes. They staged some funny scenes of their amateur TV crew. Was it a surprise for you as well, or how was it to watch this in the context of like knowing what will happen just a few days later?
I think these things makes me proud to see my father and his friends around him. I think they didn't knew what they were living through. I mean, they knew because my father wrote, "It's war, we are in the cage, we are like in the concentration camp, we are receiving only the floor, no salt, no
Food,
like
basically. Like
yeah, like
nothing.
very few things of the food and but they did all this, I think, just to forget to the situation. They would drink rakia, they would he would write these diaries and then they will film these jokes. And what is for me particular is that I never saw like such a situation today in other parts of the world, like that some amateur person, filmmaker, take other person and start creating with them film during the conflict, during the very difficult period of the time. I mean, they are like in different contexts, people do this, but it was something that yeah, for me it's beautiful to see because I could meet those people. So while watching this material, I connected with many of these people, and when I would go to find them on the cemetery or in the, it's really something that I feel this person was my friend because I saw him speaking, I saw him joking, I saw him like arguing with some situation, and it's really something that you deeply connect. So these materials, what also was impressive is that they were walking in Srebrenica with some shirts from Hawaii, like speaking with people. Like they were, three of them, they were like John Bannon boys, like some kind of American characters who are there, who are like above the whole situation that's going on. And
They even made costumes for their filming. Like this was also something that really amazed me. Like they made a real effort.
Yeah, they made a real effort. Like they would, and then all these fiction, let's say, short films that they made, they were based on their own experiences. So that's the reason why this footage were so realistic. Because there is a scene in the movie where I love that one of the guys, he was saying, okay, we are now going to create a scene where a guy was wounded in the trench, and then they recreate the scene the 1 year after what happened, because and then of course you couldn't make it because you went through this situation, and yeah, and or others like in the hospitality, in the hospital,
They staged the hospital basically with bandages and then doctors and everything.
and
like,
the blood.
That's a very also particular kind of humor to do that in an environment where it literally happens outside your window. Like
They were very, I think this is what is great about the material for me. It's that they are very sarcastic, and they use a lot of black humor, and that's in somehow it was their fans. That was reading diaries of my father. He would mention things like such that some people would be jealous on their life because they will listen to music while other people are dying, while other people have nothing to eat. But they were equal, all of equal. It's what you are in your head, how you, because they were not different like others, because you just need to, they recreated this room, they put the plastic windows, they, like managed to find this accumulator with to put the music. It's like still today, like when we see the situation in Gaza, if you constantly see that people, maybe, some people are too much for them to see. But when you see these little kids who smile, who play, who sing, that's something that makes you completely different image about Palestinians. Because this song is that powerful. It's powerful than any other projectile. It's powerful than more than 1,000 grenades. This smile and this, in my opinion, it's something that is protecting the whole these people. It's protecting the culture. It's protecting the tradition. It's protecting everything. So I think these things are essentials to see the life, not only the dead. So I think this is also, I wanted to show the side of life, to show people who lived in Srebrenica, not only to speak, after, because it is, unfortunately, those people are not anymore with us, but at least we could see them.
Yeah. Your father went through a lot. He escaped Srebrenica. He survived the death march, the so-called. And in the video after, in your movie, we see that about certain things, he refuses to talk. And we see many scenes where he says, like, turn off your camera, don't do this interview. How was that for you? What kept you going? And did you maybe have some doubts at some point?
Actually, it was, I thought it would be really easy to film with him because, it's my father, and he was filming, he knows. Actually, he teach me how, he was telling me, no, you don't need to film like this or that. And I was saying, okay, I will film now. And when I started filming, okay, he was, happy that I film. But when I started to dig, and when he understood what is my intention, then he would refuse me. And believe me, there were days that I even couldn't turn on the camera because he would sometimes, be very angry. And I was constantly trying to hold camera with me. And sometimes even before turning it on, he was saying, if you turn it, I will break it. I didn't capture these moments because it was difficult to, maybe I wanted also to capture this. And then I constantly insist. So in some moments when he feel like good, that I could feel that I film him. And I did many things in fragments. So I was saying how I will put it all together. How it's very difficult to put all these things together. But in the end, because I didn't want to do it like a classical interview, like, okay,
He
tell me.
sits somewhere in a setting
Yes.
with lights and everything.
Yeah. And because if I did this, I think all these things that later, slowly he opened. Later he opened, but it's really took me few years that he opened. On the beginning, he didn't want. I filmed him for 2017 till 2020, so like 3 years, and it's really. I was thinking like, how is that really possible that I cannot film my father? I had a lot of difficulties with this.
Maybe a critical question. Is it ethical to ask a person over and over again of whom you know that she refuses to talk? Like he refused to talk, you knew that he didn't feel comfortable, but you kept asking.
Yeah, because depends. But I think for my father, I think I'm thinking now maybe it would be easier that he tell me everything. For him, he unfortunately died, and he couldn't finish to tell me all that he wanted or all that I wanted to know. I never touch and speak with him about this intimate relationship with other women.
Which we also see on screen that there is something
Yes.
going on in
Yes.
Srebrenica.
Yes, because his lover saved videotapes and material, and after a few days, my mom took it and conserved it. So we have like this memory of my father is
Thanks
saved
to
by
her.
2 women in the end. And I realized it after that I made it. This woman who saved and my mom who conserved it. And I was thinking like, wow, how Bosnian women were like so, they could throw it. I mean, my mom could throw all these
Everyone
diaries.
would have understood that, like out of anger, like
Yes.
a very human reaction.
Yeah, and she saved it. I mean, she conserved it. And for me, there's also the way that she didn't throw nothing, even that she sacrificed a lot, that she suffered a lot with the pain to accept that my father had another woman and everything. And even one of the diaries is dedicated to that woman. So she read it. She read all.
Wow.
Or maybe she didn't. We don't know.
But she kept it.
She kept it. And that was. So these values are something really huge. And what really was important for me that my father taught me, he told me like, Ano, you have to work for the future. You have to have friendships with your Serbs, with the Serbian generation of your age. You didn't make war. You have to build the present and to work for the future. I think this is hearing it from my father, who lost many things in his life, who lost his, everything, and that he tells me this, it's something really, it's the biggest gift that I could have. So it's dedicated to him. It's dedicated to the people who are not anymore alive, people who had humanity.
Why is this movie important, especially today?
It is important because I think it is important because people don't know. People still don't know what happened in Srebrenica. People mostly saw after things, but I think when they see, in my film, you see like a lot of people, many young, old people. You see like situations, how they joke, how they make a football, or how they wanted to forget all the context of the war. And it is important because still few people, I would say, are denying what happened there. And it is important to visit Srebrenica. This film, it's part of what happened there. And but I think it is important that people go to see Srebrenica. This is what I always say: don't speak about Srebrenica that much, or at least don't say bad things about Srebrenica until you don't go there. It's important not only to go to the memorial center, but at least to speak with few locals, just to understand, to feel the air. I think this is important. I suggest anyone like to go there, because I think people will have different. We are full of prejudice, you know. So it's important to go there because people who lives there are incredible. And what I heard from a friend of mine, he's Bosnian, and he's like, I met him on the Peace March because my father survived that march.
Just quickly to explain to maybe people who don't know, so the Peace March is a route where people walk the way backwards, where they fled once from Srebrenica, direction of Tuzla. So now the Peace March goes back and they end up at the Potocari base to remember.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 3 days walking, and I met this friend of mine. He's Bosnian, and he told me like the second year that we met, like on the Peace March, he told me, I learned from you, like not only from me but from the people there. I learned not to hate. That was something. That's beautiful to hear. You know, we who survived the most brutal things. Really, it was really brutal things. You know, when you lost your house and when you go away. I was like for 10 years a refugee, without electricity, without proper water, without food, without pharmacy, without doctor, without nothing, without identity. It was really difficult. It was very brutal war. It was very brutal situation. Losing more than 35 members of my family, still few of them, they are still never found. We are searching for them. But when you hear that someone tells you that he or she learns that not to hate because of my behaving, that's huge. So that's the reason why I say people come there.
You just gave them another reason, actually, because as you told me just before we started this recording, you organized a film festival in Srebrenica. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, thank you for asking me. Yeah, it's the film. It's concluded, and now I have this festival that I organized in Srebrenica. For the first year, it took place from 15 till 17 July. It's called the Silver Frame Film Festival. Why Silver Frame? Because Srebrenica in the Roman period used to be called like Argentaria or Domavia. Argentum, it means silver. So silver, it's srebro in Bosnian, Serbian, Croatian, or Montenegrin. So Silver Frame, it's the festival that has to give opportunity, especially to the local community, to give the possibility that this young new generation have some kind of the bridge, to create bridges with other filmmakers, other countries, that they also could study and work in the cinema field. And as well that people there in the Bratnac and Srebrenica and in that region have possibility to watch some quality movies, some to experience like open air cinema that we had, that they could participate to some master classes, film talks or whatever, and yeah, slowly to get to develop this kind of criticism on that you could have to build yourself, to know, to decide what is, you know, like good, what is beautiful, what is not good, what is bad, you know. So this is the festival also that in somehow has goal to say to the world that they are also alive. You know, Srebrenica for me, it's not a big cemetery, even if I'm still searching for my grandfather who is killed in genocide. It is important that people, that it's my home. My mom lives there. My neighbor lives there. I mean, we have to understand that there is also people who lives there. There is very beautiful, beautiful nature, beautiful rivers. So people who came this year at the festival, they were so impressed. If I'm living in Rome and if I go every year there and if I'm impressed, I said, okay, this year I will not go there alone. I will organize a festival. It was difficult to organize because there is no support by the
official institutions, maybe.
Let's say like this, it's better. But they were friends who supported the festival. So we bring many people and we organize the festival in parallel way with the International Working Camp that is organized by the international organization IMAL Solidarity and House of Good Tones in Srebrenica. And the main organizer is Association Admon Film. And it was really, really beautiful. And we are receiving still very positive feedbacks.
I just wanted to ask, how did the local community react to a film festival?
It's, when you organize something, it's, of course, everything that you organize in somehow you organize for yourself. But it is important when you organize something for yourself, you cannot go now to someone and start only speaking about yourself. It's annoying for other person. It's not interested that you only speak about yourself. So it is important to involve the local community and to give them something that they could understand. So that was the goal. And people were involved like as a jury members, like we had the young local jury members, and they had a master class, how critically to watch a movie. So in the end, they choose the best short film, international short film, and this section is the heart of the festival because I involved 5 honorable film selectors, because this festival, me as also a festival networker, I wanted to give a visibility as well to the film selectors, because often at the film festival, the main people are like jury members. And I agree, but film selectors change your life. If you are selected at Cannes Film Festival, Sundance, Venice, Sarajevo, or Rome, or whatever, Berlinale, especially if we speak about short films, if you are as young author, or if you are selected in this festival, your next film is a feature film, and you will have like a line of the producer who wants to invest in your next project. So I had these 5 honorable selectors from this festival that I mentioned, and I'm very grateful they are part of this festival, that they understood the idea. So 5 short films were selected by Ana Souza from Sundance, Nicola Gentili from Roma Film Festival, Alice nella Città, Asia Krasmanovic Sarajevo Film Festival, Carla Vulpiani from Venice Film Festival, and Wim Venetker from Cannes Film Festival.
That's impressive.
So these people really understand this idea. I'm so grateful for their support to bring some like different, to give the high quality cinema in Srebrenica. And this high quality cinema is judged by the young local juries. And for me, this is the most important. This is the heart of the festival. And these kids, they watch these films and they learn before this how to watch it. Of course, we had also feature films. We had also sections dedicated to the regional student program. We had the green section. It's also important to mention that a lot of issues with plastica, a lot of issues with the water that is not clean in Srebrenica. So we had also the film Mobile Residency that we filmed some stories and that we also show with the locals. So that also was good, that we really involve the local community. And we bring different fresh voices from Bosnia and Herzegovina who never came in Srebrenica. So they interacted with people without any prejudice. So these kind of things are important to go forward.
when is the next edition of this festival?
In next edition, 15, 16, and 17 July next year. So we plan to be 3 days, maybe it will be more days, but it will be in July. It will be after 11th of July, like day of the commemoration. And it is, why? Because people are also asking like, why it's so close? Like, it's delicate. Yes, it is the day of memory of genocide. It is important because still many people don't know nothing about that. But it is also important that when people go there, they have a good motivation that they remain in Srebrenica. They could go in some local restaurants and hotels. They could stay for a few days. They could support economically. This is also some kind of the biggest idea behind the festival, to help this community. Because mostly people come in Srebrenica for the 11th of July and on the end of the day, they leave. Idea is also that people remain at least for few days. They experience also the life today, how Srebrenica breathe, to meet people there.
I'm really curious how this will go, and I really hope that I will be able to attend.
I'm inviting you. I would love to that you attend, and I love this idea of a podcast here at DokuFest. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm thankful to the director, selectors, staff of the festival. It's a really big honor to be here, to have the premiere of my film at one of the most important festival for documentary here. It's amazing.
I'm very happy to hear that. And thank you so much, Ado, for this conversation.
Thank you, Alexander.
Find all the episodes of our podcast on YouTube. Share the episodes with your friends and make sure to follow DokuFest on social media. Organization of this podcast, Blerina Kanja and Samir Karahuda. Production, Flutura Balai. And I'm your host, Alexandra Hildman.